If you'd told me 6 months ago that my marriage would die because of a fitness tracker, I would have laughed and asked what brand of weed you were smoking. But here we are. Not because of a heart attack or some freak electrical fire. Nope. Just a rubber bracelet that monitors steps, sleep, and, apparently, adultery. We live in suburban Atlanta. Not Buckhead rich, but tech-savvy with solar panels rich. Our house talks to us. The thermostat adjusts to moods. We've got voice assistants in every room like bored hotel staff. Sure thing. Taylor, playing your playlist now. It's the kind of place where everything is connected, except, apparently, trust. Taylor, my wife of 8 years, is a marketing exec for some mid-sized SaaS company with a name that sounds like a sneeze, Clixa or Cliva, or something equally artificial. She's ambitious, polished, and recently decided she's reclaiming her fitness journey, which in hindsight was probably the first red flag. That, in the new Lululemon obsession. She didn't jog before. Now she had $700 worth of leggings and matching sports bras that never saw a gym. It started with sleep scores. "Babe, check this out," she said one morning, phone in hand, beaming. "I got an 89 sleep score last night. REM like a champ." "Huh," I grunted, sipping coffee. "Thought you were working late at the office?" "I was," she said, way too quickly. "But I crashed hard after. Guess I needed it." I wanted to believe her. God knows I tried. But here's the thing, Taylor doesn't sleep well. Never has. Even Ambien didn't work on her. So when she started logging deep, restorative sleep on nights she wasn't home until 11 p.m., something smelled off. And it wasn't just her new sandalwood post-workout body mist. Still, I played it cool. I'm not the jealous type. I'm the gather evidence first type. The kind of guy who doesn't ask why until he knows the what, when, and with who. So I started small. I noticed her Fitbit charging at the kitchen counter one Saturday. While she was in the shower, I tapped it. Noticed her login credentials were already saved on the phone app. Bless her overconfident little heart, she never logged out of shared devices. I created a dummy email, synced the data to a second Fitbit profile, and set the app to mirror her logs. Boom. I had a live feed of her body's every move. Literally. At first, it was innocent 10,000 steps, steady cardio, the occasional yoga session. But then came the odd spikes. Monday night, 9:47 p.m., a heart rate spikes to 140 BPM. Duration, 32 minutes. Activity logged. Other exercise. That same night, I was home eating leftover chili and watching reruns. She said she was grinding late on the pitch deck. Sure, sweetheart. Must have been one hell of a PowerPoint. I started logging the spikes. Tuesday, Thursday, next Monday. Every time she claimed to be working late, she'd log other exercise around the same time, always 20 to 40 minutes long, followed by a steady heart rate drop and a stellar sleep score. Curious, I checked our shared Gmail. She didn't know the inbox still forwarded certain receipts to both of us, remnants of our joint Amazon account days. That's when I saw them. Uber rides. Repeated trips to the same address. A high-rise condo downtown. Pickups around 10:30 p.m., drop-offs back at our house near midnight. Always listed as work travel reimbursement. I Googled the address. It wasn't an office. It was a luxury condo building. Valet. Rooftop pool. Swipe-only elevators. I wasn't angry. Not yet. I was fascinated. Because I wasn't just catching a cheater, I was unraveling a routine. Taylor didn't just slip. She built a second life with the efficiency of a logistics app. Her deception had data points, patterns, precision. So I decided to get surgical. She had a big quarterly meeting coming up, Clix's all-hands Zoom. 60 employees. Execs. Investors. Her time to shine. She'd been working on her presentation for weeks. Talked about it nonstop. Practiced her tone in the mirror. I watched from the couch, sipping whiskey, as she rehearsed phrases like strategic synergies and growth verticals. She saved the deck to our shared desktop. Again, careless. I copied it, created a duplicate, and started building my version. Slide 1. Welcome to Taylor's Real Weekly Breakdown. Slide 2. Heart rate chart from the Fitbit logs, Monday, 9:47 p.m. Slide 3. Uber receipts with matching timestamps. Slide 4. Condo building address and photo. Slide 5. Other exercise frequency versus client meeting schedule. Slide 6. A spreadsheet titled Consistent Deception Metrics. No music. No transitions. Just brutal data. I didn't need to scream. I didn't need to cry. I just needed to let the numbers talk. And I had one more cherry on top. I checked Clix's executive bios. Cross-referenced meetings, HR notices, LinkedIn posts. There he was, VP of Product, married, 2 kids, lives 12 minutes from the condo address. The same man Taylor had once called an absolute genius over dinner. Figures. And just like that, the scene was set. Tuesday morning, 8:45 a.m. I logged into her Zoom account from my laptop, uploaded my version of the deck, sat back. At 9:01, the meeting began. And at 9:04, the truth hit like a semi-truck. There's something oddly peaceful about knowing you're about to ruin someone's professional life. Like that moment right before a thunderstorm breaks. The air gets thick, still, electric. You know chaos is coming. You don't stop it. You just enjoy the breeze while it lasts. That was me at 8:58 a.m. on Tuesday, sitting at the kitchen table with a coffee in one hand and my phone in the other. Taylor had already left, early as usual. Big day, she said. All hands with leadership. I nodded, kissed her forehead, and watched her walk out the door in a tailored blazer and a smile that wouldn't survive the hour. I opened her Zoom account from my laptop. 2-factor authentication? Already bypassed, thanks to the fact that her backup email was, wait for it, still logged in on the family iPad. Security theater. Useless when you live with the guy who set up your router. 9 a.m. on the dot. The meeting started. Clixa didn't play around with timing. Cameras on, suits pressed, fake enthusiasm dialed to 11. 60 tiny faces filled my screen in that Brady Bunch grid of corporate doom. Most of them still muted. Most of them pretending to care. Then came Taylor's intro. Next up, our Q1 campaign strategy overview, presented by Taylor Grant, Director of Brand Activation. The host passed her screen share rights. She wasn't at her desk yet, still in the hallway outside the meeting room, probably getting her notes straight, adjusting her lipstick in the bathroom mirror. I clicked Share Screen. The file I'd renamed campaignoverview_tg_v2.pptx loaded without a hitch. Slide 1 popped up in all its glory. Welcome to Taylor's Real Weekly Breakdown. Subtitle, An Intimate Data Dive. For the first 2 seconds, no one reacted. Probably assumed it was some edgy marketing metaphor. Until slide 2 rolled in. A heart rate chart from her Fitbit, red spikes, time-stamped, color-coded by day. Then came slide 3. Uber receipts, linked to shared email. Screenshots of ride logs, pickup times from our home, drop-offs to a condo downtown. Labeled by date. Overlaid against the heart rate chart like a deranged murder board. Slide 4 was the clincher. Condo address, 2117 Midtown Tower, Unit 8C. With a photo of the building and a Google Maps pin. Captioned, not a Clixa property. People started unmuting. What is this? Taylor. Slide 5, a screenshot of her Fitbit app showing her weekly logged activities. Specifically, other exercise, Monday 9:47 p.m., Wednesday 10:12 p.m., Thursday 9:56 p.m. Slide 6, a side-by-side of her company calendar and the sessions. One labeled, Team Sync at 9 p.m., Downtown Office. The other, Real Sync, 8C, Midtown, verified by Fitbit. Then came slide 7. This was where I twisted the knife. VP of Product, Charles Denton. Headshot. Company bio. Married 17 years. Lives and Vinings. Below that, a Zoom meeting list showing Charles had been in every late-night sync with Taylor for the past 2 months. I ended the slideshow with slide 8. Clixa believes in transparency. So do I. The meeting imploded. Someone gasped. Another person screamed, "Oh my God." At least 5 cams went dark instantly. A few execs leaned toward their screens like they couldn't believe what they were seeing. And then, the moment I was waiting for. Box number 27 lit up. Name, Mary Ann Denton. Title, Regional HR, East Coast. Yep, Charles's wife. She was on the call. That part 1 didn't even plan. Just luck. Beautiful, poetic, devastating luck. She leaned into her camera slowly, like she was trying to get a closer look. Charles, she said, voice icy calm. Would you like to explain this before I forward it to our divorce lawyer? His screen flickered, then went dark. Left the meeting. Taylor's camera finally came on. She was seated now, eyes wide, trying to smile through the panic. This isn't my presentation, she said, voice trembling. Has someone hacked? No one hacked this, said the CFO, an older woman with glasses perched at the edge of her nose. This is internal information. Someone you know did this. Let's pause the meeting, said another exec, awkwardly. We'll reconvene later. Call ended. Just like that. Silence. I closed the laptop and leaned back in my chair. It was done. A few hours later, Taylor came home early. Hair messed up. Jacket off. She slammed the door harder than she needed to, like volume might make the whole thing go away. I was in the living room, TV on, feet up. She stood in the doorway, hands shaking. You did this, she said, voice brittle. I looked at her. No expression. You exposed me. To my entire company. I took a sip of my drink. She started crying. Real tears this time. Not the manipulative ones. The I've lost everything kind. She dropped to the couch, buried her face in her hands. I was going to tell you, she said. I was just scared. You weren't scared, I replied. You were strategic. You had patterns, plans, a fitness tracker schedule. This wasn't a one-time mistake. It was a PowerPoint waiting to happen. She looked up at me, mascara streaked, lips quivering. What do you want from me? She asked. An apology? Do you want me to beg? I shook my head slowly. I don't want anything. You already gave me everything I needed. I walked out of the room, left her there on the couch. Didn't slam the door. Didn't yell. Just let the silence do the work. Later that night, she tried to talk again. I'm going to lose my job, she said, standing in the hallway outside our bedroom. Sounds about right. And Charles. I raised an eyebrow. Still calling him Charles? Thought it was C in your calendar. She flinched. You don't understand, she whispered. I looked her in the eye. I understand better than you think. That's why this was so easy. She didn't sleep that night. Paced the hallway. Sat on the floor with a glass of wine. At one point, I saw her outside on the porch, just staring at nothing. Like if she stayed still long enough, the world would reset. But it wouldn't. Because this wasn't a bad dream. This was the reality she built, one intimate exercise at a time. And now, she gets to live in it. Alone. But we're not done just yet. The best revenge? That comes next. And it's got nothing to do with slideshows. It's about taking back everything she thought I'd let her keep. The next morning was a masterpiece in awkward silence. Taylor didn't speak. Didn't cook. Didn't do her usual fake happy hum while pouring her overpriced oat milk into overpriced granola. She just sat at the counter in a hoodie 2 sizes too big, staring at a coffee cup like it held her last shot at forgiveness. I watched from the living room. Didn't say a word. Just sipped my own coffee, black, quiet, and as bitter as I felt. She finally opened her mouth. I'm suspended. Shocking. HR said they're launching an investigation. I'd launch one too. Great data visualization. She flinched, looked down. Tried again. Charles is not speaking to anyone. His wife filed. Good for Mary Ann, I said, flipping the page of a magazine I wasn't reading. Efficient woman. She sat there another 10 minutes. Then went back upstairs, slow steps like each one was a confession. I didn't follow. I didn't ask how she was feeling. I knew. I checked my email instead. My lawyer had replied. She'd reviewed the evidence I'd sent, screenshots, receipts, the Zoom call recording. Oh yes, I saved it. Her message was short and sweet. We're in an excellent position. Let's talk strategy. Strategy. Now that was a word I liked. See, up until now, I'd kept it quiet. I hadn't told anyone. No public shaming outside the company implosion. No social media posts. No angry group texts. Just precision strikes. But with the legal engines warming up, it was time to go full tactical. First, I had the house. Joint ownership, sure, but the mortgage and title were under my name. Always had been. Taylor didn't even know the bank password. She was too busy syncing Spotify playlists and pretending she cared about the thermostat's eco mode. Next, the finances. I pulled the last 6 months of statements. Flagged every work expense that was really an affair subsidy. Hotel charges. Uber rides. Meal reimbursements that weren't reimbursed. I highlighted every one and built a spreadsheet titled Fraudulent Expenditures, Marital Funds. My lawyer loved it. Called it evidence gold. But the real win? The kids. We didn't have any. Which meant no custody battles. No visitation drama. No court-mandated exchanges in Target parking lots. Just clean cuts. I filed the papers the next day. No warning. No preview. No, let's talk this through. I left the manila envelope on the kitchen island, right next to her favorite mug, the one that said, #MarketingQueen. She found it that evening. I heard the gasp from the living room. She came in holding the envelope like it was radioactive. You're divorcing me? I looked up. I'm formalizing what you already started. She blinked, mouth open, eyes glassy. You could have talked to me. We could have. No, I said. We couldn't have. You made that choice for both of us. All I'm doing now is documenting it. She sat down. Slowly. Tried the trembling lip thing. Tried the I'm a human with feelings thing. But here's the thing about liars. They're actors. And once you see the script, the performance falls apart. I didn't flinch. She finally said, so this is it? No. This is the beginning. She laughed once, bitter and broken. God, you're really enjoying this. Not enjoyment. Closure. She stood, pushed the chair back, walked upstairs. Didn't see her again that night. The next morning, she was gone. Her car missing. Bedroom closet half empty. One drawer left open with a single sports bra hanging out like a white flag. I didn't chase her. Instead, I got to work. Had the locks changed. Sent her lawyer a message through mine. All communication through counsel from this point forward. I wasn't going to be baited into a scene. No angry porch confrontations. No dramatic return home moments. She didn't get that. She made her choice with every logged workout, every Uber receipt, every little lie wrapped in tech and lipstick. A week passed. Then two. Her lawyer started stalling emotional duress, career damage, unfair exposure. All buzzwords meant to delay, guilt trip, negotiate sympathy. But I wasn't playing that game. My lawyer sent back one line. Client is prepared to pursue full financial restitution based on infidelity documentation and misuse of marital funds unless current terms are accepted. They folded within 3 days. Taylor would walk away with her car, her clothes, and whatever dignity she could scrape from the soles of her Allbirds. The house? Mine. The money? 75/25 split. I got the 75. No alimony. No appeals. Just signatures. She didn't come to the final signing. She sent her lawyer. Probably couldn't stand to see my face one more time, not because of what I did, but because I never cracked, never yelled, never gave her the fight she thought she deserved. After the paperwork, I did something strange. I went for a run. First time in months. Maybe years. Threw on some old shoes. Cranked up a playlist. Took the Fitbit she left behind, yeah, that fitted, and synced it to my phone. As I jogged down the neighborhood trail, I checked my heart rate. Steady. Calm, unburdened, and suddenly I understood why she was so obsessed with the damn thing. Because when you lie every day, when you cheat and cover and scheme and whisper, the only truth left is the one beating in your chest. Mine was quiet now. But don't worry, we're not done. Not quite yet. Because the best endings? They leave a mark. And I had one more surprise left. You ever clean out a closet and find something that doesn't even make you mad anymore? Just amused? Like a sweater you didn't realize was stolen from your dignity, or a card that says forever scribbled next to a receipt for betrayal. Yeah, that was Tuesday. I was clearing out the upstairs linen closet, because apparently, when someone cheats on you for sport, they also hoard 17 unopened candles and 3 emergency yoga mats. I was sorting towels when I found a box shoved way in the back. Plain cardboard. No label. Taped shut like it held secrets. Which, of course, it did. Inside were printed selfies. Hundreds. Some of her, some of them. Hotel bed angles. Bathroom mirror smirks. One particularly disgusting one in a rooftop pool cabana I know wasn't in our vacation itinerary. She'd printed them. Physical copies. Like she thought infidelity needed a scrapbook. I sat on the floor and flipped through them slowly, not out of pain, out of research. There was a theme. A pattern. She was always smiling, always perfectly lit. Like cheating was just another performance. Her Instagram had nothing on these. On the front stage, she was marketing queen, #rise and grind. But in this box, she was someone else entirely. Someone selfish. Someone polished. Someone fake. That's when the idea hit me. Not a revenge play. Not a scream. Something cleaner. Longer. Permanent. She thought her biggest mistake was the Zoom call. It wasn't. It was underestimating me after the call. See, she'd started applying to jobs. Quietly. I knew because our LinkedIn connections overlapped. A friend sent me a screenshot. Is this your ex-wife? Weird, she just messaged me asking about an opening at my company. That's when I knew she was trying to reinvent herself. Build a new brand. Get back in the game as if her name didn't already come with a red flag and a side of shame. So I built a site. I called it cheatsheet.pro. I bought the domain, secured the hosting, and wrote the copy myself. Plain. Professional. Totally factual. No slander. No editorializing. Just screenshots, timestamps, public LinkedIn bios, and the line. Due diligence begins with truth. It wasn't just about Taylor. I included Charles Denton too. I cross-referenced articles, posted links to the Clixa meeting schedule, even embedded the video clip from the Zoom call, just the first 45 seconds. Enough to show the title slide. Enough to hear Marianne's voice, cold and calm. Would you like to explain this before I forward it to our divorce lawyer? That line? Iconic. The site wasn't viral. I didn't need it to be. I just made sure it ranked. SEO'd the hell out of it. Paid for a few Google ads targeting Taylor's name, her job title, and Clix's board member list. Just enough to make sure it showed up when it needed to. Her reputation wouldn't crash overnight. It would erode, one click at a time. And me? I felt nothing. That's how I knew I was finally clean. Because revenge isn't fire. It's frostbite. It creeps in, numbs everything. And by the time it's done, the damage is permanent. 2 weeks later, I was at the grocery store, normal aisle, normal afternoon. I was buying eggs and peanut butter when someone tapped me on the shoulder. Hey, you're Brian, right? I turned. Woman. Late 30s. Business casual. Sharp blazer. The kind of poise you don't fake. Yeah. Can I help you? I'm Sarah. I work at Mosaic Strategies. That was a consulting firm Taylor had applied to. I raised an eyebrow. Okay. We received her resume, Sarah said, carefully. I was doing some routine background and came across, well, your site. She gave a small smile. I just wanted to say it was smart. Ethical. Clinical. No drama. HR appreciated the transparency. I blinked. You're kidding. She shook her head. We won't be moving forward with her. But honestly, the way you handled that? It was impressive. I didn't know what to say. She handed me a business card. If you ever want to do freelance reputation management, we could use someone with your instincts. I took it. Why not? The following Friday, I received an email from Taylor. First one since the divorce finalized. Subject, request. The body? Please take down the site. I'm trying to move on. We both made mistakes. No apology. No ownership. Just a soft plea wrapped in mutual blame. I didn't respond. I archived it. Marked her address as junk. Then I logged into the site's back end and updated the footer with a new line. Requests for removal must be submitted via notarized affidavit acknowledging all listed events. She never sent one. She couldn't. Because acknowledgement was the one thing she couldn't fake. The house got quieter. Not sad quiet. Peaceful quiet. I started sleeping better. Eating better. Jogging more. Hell, I even wore the Fitbit a few times. For irony. And you know what? My sleep scores improved. Turns out peace is measurable too. I thought about Marianne. Wondered if she was okay. Thought about Charles. Wondered how long it would take him to reappear in some new city with a new job and the same dirty habits. But mostly, I thought about how truth always wins. Eventually. Not with rage. With records. The story wasn't on fire anymore. It was on file. And I'd made damn sure the right people could read it. But even with everything in ruins behind me, there was still one message left to send. The one thing she didn't expect. Because the ultimate revenge isn't pain. It's indifference. You ever notice how silence feels different once the war is over? It's not tense anymore. It's not that buzzing, hold your breath kind of quiet. No. After the storm, silence turns solid. Reliable. Like the floor under your feet that used to creak but doesn't anymore. That was my life now. No more arguments disguised as conversations. No more fake kisses at dinner parties. No more wondering if a networking event meant cardio in someone else's sheets. It was just me, a fully stocked fridge, and a house that finally felt like mine. I kept the office. Gutted it. Threw out the vision boards, the fake plants, the "you got this" mugs that Taylor had scattered like motivational landmines. Replaced them with walnut shelves and a standing desk. Hung a frame quote on the wall. Simple. Subtle. Records don't lie. A little on the nose? Maybe. But it made me smile every time I walked past it. I wasn't angry anymore. That was the scary part. There's something colder than fury. Something more permanent. It's when you stop wanting an apology. When you stop checking your phone for closure. When you realize their voice doesn't even echo anymore. But indifference doesn't mean you forget. It just means you don't flinch while remembering. And I remembered everything. The late nights. The faked yawns. The perfect sleep scores. The accidental Uber receipts. And of course, the Fitbit. The damn device that did more investigating than most cops. She logged her betrayal in 30-minute chunks twice a week, like a class schedule. And the best part? She tracked her heart rate during it. You can't fake biometric evidence. Not unless she was doing CrossFit naked with her boss. So, I kept it all. Not just the screenshots or the video or the site. Those were already working their quiet, steady poison online. No, I kept the tone, the control, the narrative. Because one day, someone would ask me what happened. A new date, a future colleague, a friend who only heard pieces. And when they did, I didn't want to say it was messy or it just didn't work out. I wanted to say, she lost track of her lies, and her heart rate told the truth. One night, about 2 months after the divorce finalized, I ran into her again. It was at the dentist's office, of all places. I was walking out after a routine cleaning, chewing on one of those weird fluoride-laced disposable toothbrushes, when she walked in. Taylor. Hair longer. A little thinner. Wearing flats instead of heels odd. She stopped when she saw me. "Oh," she said. No smile. "Hey," I replied, not stopping. "You look good." I shrugged. Clean teeth. Steady pulse. Can't complain. That earned me a twitch at the corner of her mouth. Not a smile. Just recognition. A reminder that I was still me, only better without her. "You took it far," she said after a pause. "The site. The presentation. I took it exactly as far as your lies reached." She blinked. I was humiliated. I met her eyes. So was I. "You just didn't notice at the time." A beat passed. A long, heavy beat. "I lost a lot," she whispered. "You gambled a lot," I corrected. "You just assumed the house would cover the debt." She looked like she wanted to say more. Like she wanted to go back into some memory and rewrite it mid-sentence. But she didn't. She just nodded. "Take care, Brian." I nodded back. "Already am." And then I walked away. I didn't turn around. Didn't check to see if she watched me go. That was her move. Her pattern. And I deleted it. 3 days later, I got a text. "Unknown number. You're a legend. HR forwarded your case study to our entire department. We call it the Fitbit file. Hope you're cashing in on this." No name. But I knew who it was. Someone at Clixa. Probably one of the interns or junior managers who survived the fallout. I laughed out loud. The Fitbit file. It sounded like a spy novel. So I bought the domain, thefitbitfile.com. Why not? Redirected it to cheatsheet.pro. Made a new graphic header. Clean. Sharp. Sleek. Added a new section at the bottom. How to spot a digital affair. 7 signs they're not just working late. It went viral on Reddit 3 days later. Screenshots. Heart rate overlays. Uber route heat maps. Sample calendar entries. My original PowerPoint, lightly redacted, available as a downloadable template. People didn't just read it. They started using it. Cheaters got caught. Some were mad at me. Some called it genius. Taylor? She never said a word. But I know she saw it. The backend logs showed traffic from her IP twice. Once from her phone. Once from a hotel in Tampa. She was still running. Still reading. Still trying to outrun a pulse she couldn't control. You know what surprised me the most? It wasn't how good revenge felt. It was how much peace followed. I didn't date right away. I didn't rush to fill the silence. I let it breathe. Took up woodworking. Learned to make things with my hands that didn't break. Built a coffee table from scratch, one solid slab, no glue joints. I sanded the surface for hours, just to get the grain to show properly. It was the most honest thing in the house. Sometimes, I'd walk past the spot where the slideshow was built. The laptop's gone now. Replaced with a journal. A new plant. A framed photo of me and my brother from our fishing trip last fall. No marketing slogans. No curated smiles. Just real. Taylor built a lie and lived inside it. I built a truth and watched it outlast her. But there was still one thing left to do. One door I hadn't knocked on. Not to punish her, but to thank the person who made her fall from grace permanent. Without even trying. And her name was Marianne. Her name stayed with me. Not Taylor's. Hers faded like a water stain, still there, but barely noticeable once the furniture moved. I mean Marianne. The woman with the cold voice and calm thunder who detonated the entire Zoom call with just one line. "Would you like to explain this before I forward it to our divorce lawyer?" It echoed. Not because it was loud, but because it was surgical. No raised voice. No profanity. Just precision. I thought about her often in the months that followed, not out of romance, but out of admiration. She'd been in the same bomb blast and walked out wearing armor. So I reached out. Not immediately, not recklessly, but deliberately. I found her LinkedIn. Sent a short, clinical message. Hi, Marianne. You don't know me personally, but we share a mutual digital catastrophe. If you ever want to trade war stories over coffee, I know a quiet place that doesn't judge. She replied the next day. Make it black, no sugar. War stories are best told bitter. So we met. Downtown Atlanta. Neutral territory. Quiet cafe, hardwood floors, no Wi-Fi password taped to the counter, just a place where people still spoke with their mouths instead of their thumbs. She was already there when I arrived. Same posture I remembered from the call, straight spine, measured breathing, eyes like frostbitten glass. She looked up when I walked in and nodded like we'd both just finished a long commute through hell. Brian, she said. Marianne. We sat. Coffee was poured. No small talk. She opened with, You're the one who built the slides. I nodded. And the site. I figured. Silence again. Not awkward. Just coiled. Then she said something that stuck with me. You didn't blow it up out of rage. That's what made it effective. I smiled slightly. I treated it like a business case. ROI of honesty. She laughed. Just once. But it was genuine. We talked for an hour. She told me about her divorce. Fast, clean, quiet. Charles didn't contest. Too embarrassed. She got the house. The kids. The Volvo. He moved to Charlotte and tried to start over. Spoiler. His LinkedIn still said, currently consulting. I told her about Taylor's descent. The interviews that vanished. The reputation that clung to her heels like wet cement. The silence that followed. She listened. No sympathy. Just understanding. When we finished our coffees, she stood up and said, You're not angry. No. Why? Because I won. She looked at me for a long moment, then nodded. Me too. And that was it. No numbers exchanged. No promises. Just mutual respect carved from the same wreckage. Weeks passed. The site grew. The Fitbit file turned into a resource. Reddit threads. Podcasts. A few journalists even reached out. One wanted to do a piece on digital footprints and marital forensics. I declined. But the traffic kept coming. Emails too. Dozens. Then hundreds. Most were from strangers. Thank you. I found out my husband was doing the same thing. Your article made me check my wife's logs. I owe you one. Is it okay if I use your PowerPoint template for my mediation? I said yes to all of it. I wasn't a hero. I was a librarian. And cheaters left receipts. Then, one day, I got an email from Taylor. New account. The subject line was simple. Peace? I almost deleted it without opening. But curiosity is a stubborn itch. The message read, I've moved. I'm working again. Small firm. I'm trying to build something real this time. Not asking for forgiveness. Just hoping someday you'll think of me with less hate. I read it twice, then archived it. Not because I hated her, but because she still thought this was about emotion. It wasn't. This was about arithmetic. Lies stacked against truth. Secrets traded for exposure. Pulse spikes traded for precision. And in that math, she never had a chance. So what now? Now, I build. I didn't become a full-time revenge guru. Didn't cash in on the website with ads or merch. But I did start consulting quietly. Helping people organize their own digital breadcrumbs. Helping them see what their gut already knew but couldn't articulate. Because that's the real problem with betrayal. It's not the event. It's the fog. You doubt yourself. Second guess. Spiral. But facts? They're anchors. Cold. Heavy. Solid. Like a Fitbit log that says, other exercise at 9:47 p.m. Or a PowerPoint slide with coordinates and receipts. Or a voice, calm and precise, saying, Would you like to explain this before I forward it to our divorce lawyer? Yeah, that one still makes me smile. Because Taylor taught me something she never meant to. She taught me that betrayal doesn't ruin you. It refines you. It scrapes away the weak parts, the blind spots, the hope. And when you come out the other side, you're not colder. You're cleaner, sharper, unbreakable. And most importantly, you never let the silence fool you again. Because now, I don't just hear the quiet. I know how to read it. Subscribe to the channel